Now, the rest of the story.
Well, the name of the game right now is, well, the day's half over. I'm gonna clean the trailers off. I'd like to get the flatbed, which is still parked in the garage, the Gator, the Deer, the bumper hitch trailer, and probably the 79 once I'm done with it, because the 76 is buried, and I would like to try to get a couple loads of hay up here from the valley. Calling for up to 6 inches of snow, and not really that big of a deal because it's still March, but the snow on the ground is pretty well gone except for the areas where, you know, the sun exactly can't get to it. But we've been in the 50-degree range here for a while. That's good. Seems kind of silly to use a 79 for pulling 6 or 8 bales back up, but too much tractor, like we found out last fall with the 76 or the 82 when the 76 went down. Pulling that gravity wagon home really sped up those days of harvest when you have a tractor that isn't exactly going to pull down when you're hitting the hills. So she's a work in progress. The mild cold weather is no big deal. We are working on a combination of the planter and the light additions, because nowadays, even we got this guy, I've got this and the 76 and the 46 put in semi-permanently. All it is a USB charger. I mean, not many years ago that seemed kind of silly, but anymore, especially when you get on the long days, being able to charge your phone, your cameras, which it seems silly to say, you know, cameras, but having access to power, especially this tractor, is really important. I do have that portable battery that Herschel sent me, and I've used it, but being able to just have a dedicated cable and a power plug in each of the machines is extremely handy. I do have a portable one that I made for the 82 and the combine, and I just been moving it back and forth between them, because if I'm not in the 82, I'm in the combine. And all it does is I took one of these adapters here, which is what is running that USB plug right there, because it's keyed power, and I just got a short cigarette style USB plug in there. We have the, which goes right into the planter, the radar gun for monitoring our speed when we're planting will be huge. That'll do, personally, I think that's going to do a better job of adjusting our planting speed and everything with the controller on the planter than purely running off of GPS. The shed, I haven't really talked much in the machine shed here lately, and things are going to start getting really busy. I'm going to admit the snow kind of slowed us up, because if we get a few inches of snow, I've been having to stay home with the kids, like when the roads are really bad, just because, well, Dad was here, Ryan was here. I could get away with a lot easier and just stay at home with the kids till Brittany got home. If I had to do that tomorrow, it's no big deal. But we're running calves to the chute here next week. Moving hay is just kind of a as I can get to it kind of a deal. I want to have it gone, and it's been moving, so I guess I just don't want to jinx myself there. And having the trailers going down to the valley right now, it's drying up. When I mean drying up, I mean the road is drying up. I mean, the gravel is so saturated that you literally just sink. And after taking how many loads of hay out, I got a couple pretty good ruts that I will have to actually take care of. Do a quick walk around on the tractor. I mean, Ryan was giving me grief the other day saying that he was laughing. How does it feel that Ryan, he's going to be the first one to use the 79 for a job going forward here? I'm like, I don't care. It's a machine. Use it. We're not really getting carried away. No, you can't use it or anything. I mean, we bought it to use it, but a lot of it is it's been tore apart, and I can at least get away hauling a couple bales with it today. And the reason I'm going with this versus pulling the 46 and the skid steer and unhooking the feed mill, the grain mill, the feed mixer, whatever, I don't know I don't know with where the hay is, if I can get to it, if the ground is kind of dried up a little bit, because last week when I brought up those 2 loads, I cut nothing but ruts. It's fine, because at least I already know I'm committed to, I go through and tear it up and just reseed it every year. But the hay is heavy enough. I mean, they're 1,300 pound bales, at least that's what they are going across the scale. And you pick them up and the ground is so soft, it's like mush, and you just sink. And then trying to get back on the concrete is almost impossible. I mean, I almost came back with a partial load already. I mean, I'm only hauling 6 bales. That's all I hauled the other day because I couldn't get any more back. I mean, if I could do more than that, it'd be great. But I think with 4 or 5 fuel lights, we'll be fine. Hopefully my microphone, I unplugged it in that last video, which I hope you guys are still there. But I'll get you guys involved here a little bit more throughout the day. It's not a late start because at least everything I've been doing, it was productive. And I need both hands to do this. I'll catch up with you here. Well, I may only be pulling 6 bales out of here at a time, but without going into a whole lot of explanation as to why only 6, they're heavy. It's low quality third cut, and I am absolutely loving this IVT. Being a lot bigger tractor than what the 7600 is, different transmission. This is my second load, but being able to come up out of here and, well, the last load I hit 19.5 miles an hour, but right now we're hanging in right at 22. But this right here is why I wanted an IVT so bad. Not necessarily saying that this tractor in particular, but just for years prior, is because for road running, you set your speed, you put your throttle all the way ahead, and then you let the tractor do the shifting for you. You just worry about staying on the road. And that is exactly what this tractor is letting me do. Best example, or the best use of it, is actually coming up out of the valley, because we're coming up out, we're going up a pretty long steady incline, we're going to top out, then we actually drop back down and then come back out on another hill, steeper yet, from essentially not necessarily a stop, it's a yield sign, and if something's coming, obviously you're going from a stop. But this machine, transmission and all that, starting from a stop sign, taking your foot off the brake, and then just letting the tractor do the shifting for you, is, for me personally, the smoothest I've ever had coming out of a stop sign. Because I have one stop where you are literally, the intersection is at the bottom of the hill, and no matter if you go left or right, you're going up a hill. So here I am, I got my transmission, I'm not touching the lever at all, it's still at 26 miles an hour. Pulled the throttle back, my brakes are both locked together, and I'm not even applying a lot of pressure. I'm just enough to make sure that tractor isn't getting away from me, which I did find that if unloaded going back that way, going down in to the valley, I was getting freewheeling up to like 28, 29 miles an hour, which is, I don't want to do that. So with this machine set in the transport mode, with your throttle all the way ahead, it'll actually rev up to 1500 RPMs, and if it can maintain your set speed, like right now it's 26 miles an hour, if it can do that and not have to run wide open, the engine will automatically derate. I believe it's down to 1500, and that's if, you know, the throttle is all the way ahead. Now I'm not hitting the brakes, checking, make sure there's nothing coming. Steep incline, throttle all the way ahead, and we just walk right out of here. See, I'm in love with this. I absolutely love this transmission, this track, everything. It's going to be really hard not to want to make this be the new full-time go-get-it tractor, because the IBT I've known for years. I mean, ever since I was high school, college, I wanted at least one machine set up for IBT for going up and down the road, and getting acclimated with it before we start planting. This is the first, if you want to say that, it's the first job that this tractor's done for us. We've taken it up and down the road a little bit just to make sure everything was working right, and, you know, more or less just everybody getting used to it, because this is a new to us transmission. I mean, Dad, Ryan, and I, we haven't really used one consistently before. That 7930 we demoed back in 12, that had IBT. But now all I'm doing now is I'm just leaving the lever all the way ahead. I'm just throttling back, largely because you guys can't see it, but I got my bale wagon behind me. It's just simple dolly wagon, single row of 6 bales on it, and if I get going too fast, it actually likes to fishtail on me, so that's why I'm okay going up hills and everything, because you're pulling the wagon. But if you get going too fast, I don't need the wagon, you know, going back and forth on me. So these bales are, I'd say some of these are, well, let's just say a range of 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. But that's what's so nice about this. I'm not having to shift a gear, drop anything down. With the 7600, a 19-speed power shift, I would have had to drop, I'd say, well, when I hauled that same hay out last week or two ago, the last time I hauled it out, I was dropping down to 17. So, jumping between gears, you've got the bounce, the jump of the transmission engaging, and this is just so much smoother. It's much more tractor too. It dynoed at 182 at the power takeoff, and there's intentions to go ahead and tune it up a little bit. It's kind of in the gray area. If we're going to do like 25, 35 horse to it. But as of right now, I think the intentions are we're just going to run it as is, use it for everything we want to use it for, and see how it really performs, how much it's really wanting that tune, those few extra horses. Now look at this, just hit the brakes. And I'm sure there's plenty of other channels out there that do this and talk about that, but throttle all the way back, hit the brakes. We got a load behind us, take the brakes off, throttle up just a little bit, no clutch, and just let it do its thing. And then, if you guys can see, I got a roller coaster to get down and back home. But we'll get these bales unloaded, and I'm might try to do one more load. I mean, if I had the 76, this tractor gets up and goes so much quicker than the 76. 26 miles an hour versus, I think, 25 wide open on the 76. But even being unloaded, she does pull down a lot more going up and down some of these hills. So being able to get back between the farms a little bit quicker. Hopefully going to let me do one more load today, because I got to go through and get everything washed off before that snowstorm tomorrow. Next 2 days. I do want to add that if my grandpa's alive and saw me using a 7920 to pull 6 bales home from the valley, he would definitely not approve. Well, something he gets mentioned an awful lot around here on the channel, viewers, new ones typically, is the fact that we're using too much tractor for what we're doing. And I agree, a 7920 to pull 6 bales home from the valley is a bit excessive. It certainly looks that way. But this has been probably the easiest, nicest, smoothest ride pulling hay home that I've ever had. And having too much machine is certainly a lot better than having not enough and having to constantly shift down and, worried that you got too much weight behind you. And Grandpa used to believe that a 4020 was the biggest tractor any farmer should need, that you can do everything that you would need to with a 4020. That may be if you're tabletop flat, but we are in southwest Wisconsin. It's the driftless region. We have hills. Some of the roads that we have to take to get between farms, one of them in particular is referred to as roller coaster roads. So there's a lot of ups and downs, and as the farm progresses and advances, I'd say that the bigger machinery is definitely the way to go. It's a common theme you hear nowadays, but I certainly wouldn't want to do everything we're doing now with nothing but a fleet of 4020s. So if you guys haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, please do. The big one is subscribe. I'd certainly appreciate it, and keeps you up to date with everything going on the rest of the story. I'll talk to you later.